I'm really curious how many people going to see that video, click on it, jump straight to the comment section and go absolutely fucking bananas, right? It's gonna be a picture. Let's get started. So guys, I recently received a comment on one of my videos about Ngons, and it's on the concept design of this shotgun that I ran recently. Great video, go ahead and watch it. And I'm gonna read this comment to you guys, it's fantastic. So this guy said, your technique is the opposite of the industry standard. You should teach them the most basic fundamental of 3D modeling, which is quad topology, instead of teaching them how to ignore n-gons and triangles. Now obviously I have to slap him a bit. This is concepting tutorial, not a topology course. Topology needs a purpose, and here the purpose is the fast idea development, not production assets. If someone wants to learn Sub-D and proper quad workflows, we have a full course for that. There is time and place for everything, and this is not it. So don't tell me how to teach when you clearly don't know what you're talking about, and now you can safely return to your daily activities on Blender subreddit. To which he replied, now you just don't know how to do it in quads, that's why your skills are dependent on add-ons like box cutter and hardops. Then he goes on some nonsense. You can read it, the comment is public. Anyway, I'm gonna post it here so everyone can read it anyway, in case he removes it. Alright, so I'm gonna talk to all the new guys, all the intermediates, anyone who's getting into hard surface and is confused about n-gons, quads, workflows, clean topology and all that nonsense, right? We'll talk about it, and after this video you're gonna be crystal clear on what's what. So first of all, this guy is full of shit. And the reason why he's full of shit is because he's dropping a blanket statement on something that he doesn't know and doesn't understand. See, topology is like a tool, just like a hammer or a spoon, right? You will not use a hammer to eat, your soup, and you will not use a spoon to drive a nail into the wall, right? So a tool has to have a purpose, and quads and n-gons are exactly that kind of a tool. So when you model something, you need to think, what's the purpose of your model? Like, why are you modeling it? For what? Is it a game asset? Is it a VFX asset for movie production? Is this going to be a file that you're going to be presenting to your customer as a design concept? Or is it going to be for your portfolio? Or is it for fun? Or maybe it's for creating an STL file for selling or printing or whatever. Or maybe it's a game asset, right? So there could be multiple reasons or purposes of such a model. So when you know the purpose of your model, then you can decide what kind of topology you should be using. And I give you an example. If you're making, let's say, a hard surface game asset, then you need to think, okay, will my game asset going to be animated, deformed, damaged, bent and all that? And if not, will the texturing process or anyone down the line, if you're in a pipeline, will require quads? If yes, then the answer is you have to make it in quads. But let's say you're a concept designer and you don't have to create it in quads, or you're creating, I don't know, an asset for an indie game, and you guys don't need quads because you can create game assets, hard surface game assets, without quads, and it's fine. We have a course on that as well, by the way, using add-ons too. Another example, you were creating something for a movie. Okay, so ask yourself a question. Will this be a hero object close to the camera when you need infinite detail, clean shading? Then most likely you will need Sub-D. But if it's a asset somewhere in the back, just like a clutter, you don't. What if, for example, you were creating a design for a customer and you were creating 3 different iterations of a design? It wasn't organic, it was just a hard surface with angular design. You don't fucking need quads. So why would you waste time doing it, right? And this is the major issue with all these muppets who come here and comment some nonsensical bullshit because they read something or some professor from the 90s told them, and they usually have no fucking idea what they're talking about, okay? They do more harm than good. Now, I'm pretty sure that subreddit has some decent people. I fucking hope. But I haven't met them yet. But there's a lot of misinformation on Blender subreddit. Josh has videos on this, and he shows examples of how people mislead, you know, new artists and new modelers who just have no clue what they're doing. But people who help them, they don't have an idea what they're doing either, and that's a scary part. So it's kind of like a blind leading the blind, you know? And when you're gonna get this bad advice, you will think that the advice was actually correct. Let's say someone on the forum has like thousands of, you know, I don't know, stars or whatever the fuck the badges they get right now because they're posting a lot of shit, and you think, oh, they know what they're talking about. They fucking don't. So be careful. We have a Discord with 8,000 people, a lot of them in the industry. There's a ton of very helpful folks. Go to our Discord, link in the video description, join, right, and ask on the help, okay, or just read the post. There's a lot of knowledgeable people there, and they're going to, you know, either slap you for being lazy or going to give you a good advice, okay? It's a no bullshit Discord, so, you know, grow some balls and join. Anyway, but it's helpful, that's the point, right? So you guys have to be really, I'm serious now, you guys have to be really fucking careful, because if someone gonna give you a bad advice, you're gonna, you know, stick with it and go for it, and you're gonna waste your time. You will learn to do things in an incorrect way, and you're going to solidify these bad habits, right? And it's really much easier to learn from scratch than unlearn something that was incorrect. Trust me, it's a waste of time, because you have to go somewhere, then revert and go there again. Do you see what I mean? It's just a waste of time. Now let me tell you how our courses are structured, because it actually makes sense here to talk about it. The very basic course, the Hard Surface Accelerator, which is for beginners, right? It teaches you the tools, the menus, the workflow, the, you know, the rendering, the principles of design, literally the whole thing for hard surface modeling. And we're using booleans and Ngons. And also we're using machine tools, because, you know, that's a fantastic add-on, and you should start using add-ons as soon as possible. So you will learn the basics, but you're also gonna, you know, lick the add-on workflow a little bit. But it's not overwhelming. But we don't teach you sub D, and the reason for this is because it's gonna be too overwhelming. If we're gonna pile up on you all these challenges and knowledge and requirements, it's not gonna be fun. It's like with kids, okay? When kids learn something in a classroom, they want to have fun. If you place a 2-year or 5-year-old kid in front of a blackboard in a classroom alone and force him to listen to a teacher, he's gonna go fucking mental, right? Because it's boring. So is sub D. I'm sorry, but it's boring. It's not fun, okay? And in addition, it's very abstract. You know, there are multiple ways in which you can do sub D, okay? You can, you know, you can sculpt something and retopologize. You can build something with Ngon and booleans and convert it to sub D. You can build from scratch using sub D, so pulling planes, and this one is the most abstract ones, so pulling verts, etc. And the last one's gonna be building something and retopologizing, right? Let's say you're building CAD, you bring to Blender, retopologize, you get the point. Now, all these tools are valid and they have their place, but again, the model needs to follow the purpose, okay? Because without purpose, there's no point of doing it. You see what I mean? Like, it's like going outside on summer and wearing a hat and a coat. I mean, no one fucking does that because there's no point, right? These two things have no purpose on summer, okay? They're invaluable on the winter, but in summer, what's the point? Right. Now, next course is going to be teaching you add-on workflow, because you want to become efficient, you want to become proficient and fluid in working in Blender. Why? Because that's how pros work. Guys, I received 2 messages recently from 2 guys who are working on in Cloud Emporium on Star Citizen vessels. One of them was Michael Oberschneider, with whom, by the way, we're going to be having a podcast. So it's going to be something to look forward to. And the other guy, I don't know his name exactly, but he messaged me on my other video on Star Citizen. And both of them said that, you know, cheers for the video. I'm a designer of this and this vessel. And by the way, we've learned Blender from your videos, especially the hard surface workflow for hard ops and box cutter. Why? Because the intelligent people, they were transitioning, like Michael was transitioning from 3D Max, and he needed the tools, right? He needed to get into Blender as soon as possible, as fast as possible, as efficiently as possible. So that's what intelligent people do. They use tools, right? And he's designing, you know, really complex stuff. Both of them are using these add-ons, right? So saying that I'm hiding behind these add-ons because I don't know Sub-D, it's the most fucking ridiculous statement ever, especially that our third course, which is the Sub-D course, guess what? It's add-on based. Why? Because first you need to learn the basics, then you need to learn the workflow with add-ons, so you're gonna be more efficient, more fluid. You will not be, you know, held by the hand by Blender bullshit vanilla tools, which are fucking archaic sometimes. You know, I'm not saying Blender is bad because it's a fantastic software, mainly because it allows you to work with add-ons, but a lot of tools in Blender are fucking clunky. If I don't say it, no one fucking will. So the point, you know, of using these add-ons is to make things more personal and also more fluid and faster, okay? So when you think, when you concept, you want to just go with the flow, right? You don't want to get held by some mundane bullshit. Do you see what I mean? And that's the next logical step. And above this, right, you got Render University, obviously, because you have to learn how to render, how to present yourself, camera angles, lighting, negative space, all these things. And they also going to benefit you when you're modeling. And the last step is going to be some advanced stuff like game asset course that we have, or for example, Sub-D course. And then in Sub-D course, it doesn't teach you basics of Blender, it teaches you the basics of Sub-D using add-ons. So you need to be efficient in Blender to get into that course, and people love that course. Why? Because they already know Blender, they know the tools, they know the menus, they know what they want, they just need the tool. They just need a specific solution for Sub-D, and that course gives them exactly that. I'm using about 10 or 11 add-ons over there, paid and free, but the main workflow is with Hardops and Box Cutter, Mesh Machine, Machine Tools, Cablerator, Material Works. All these add-ons are essential because they're just gonna make it less painful and faster. And Solve, another example for retopologizing, cleaning topology. These are all essential tools. Muppets like this don't understand. So don't listen to idiots. Listen to people who know what the fuck they're talking about. Go on our Discord. Talk to people. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, this shit annoys me. And people like this, by the way, I mean, I'm leaving this as an example, okay? But if you're going to comment nonsense like this on my YouTube or on our Discord, you're getting nuked because we don't want this bullshit around us, okay? We keep all these Muppets on Reddit, and that's why we want them to stay, okay? So guys, it's really simple, yeah? Start with Ngons. Don't worry about topology, okay? It's not important. Just worry about the tools. Worry about getting shading correct, because if you don't understand how shading works, you will never understand Sub-D. You will try to make everything in quads. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes maybe you need Ngons for Sub-D because it shades better. Trust me, it's a fact. Or even triangles in a specific location. I'm not saying the whole mesh. But Sub-D goes way deeper than this. You got loops, right? And in the placement, you got quad flow. You got specific areas when you need to know how to place quads and where. You need to space the quads properly. You need to listen to the shade. You need to understand. You need to feel the shading. If you don't feel the shading, you will never be good at Sub-D. You need to know how to redirect the flow, how to close the flow in order to, you know, introduce smaller details in a specific area without polluting the whole fucking mesh with loops. There's a lot of stuff to take on. It is not for beginners, okay? It's not for beginners. You guys have to start slowly, learn the tools. And this motherfucker tells me how to teach. Motherfucker, man. It really pisses me off. A good teacher, right, will challenge you. Will challenge you in a way that's not going to break you. Okay? A good teacher is going to challenge you in a way that's going to give you this kind of like a endorphin boost, okay? Because you get this amazing boost of energy when you actually complete that challenge. So the challenge should be within your reach, but pushing you a little bit higher bit by bit. That's good teaching. Dumping everything on you, it's not a good teaching, okay? That's bullshit. That's what people who have no fucking clue what they're doing, that's how they're gonna be teaching, okay? So if you find someone like that, run, because you'll learn fuck all. So when you're starting with Blender, just do the basic stuff, Ngons and booleans, you're fine, okay? When you start understanding, you know, what's the shading, what's the topology, like why this is breaking here, like what's the bevel, what do I need weighted normals, why do I have to turn off auto smooth with subdivision, okay, why do I have to stack subdivision for paneling? There's so many different techniques to use, right? And if you're going to drop all that shit at once in one bucket and just handle to the noob, they're gonna just start crying because it's just too much. And I had multiple messages from people telling me, I give up, you know, on Subdi because you're just too abstract. And I said, okay, how did you start learning? Well, I started from Subdi. Okay, so listen, grab our course, the Hard Surface Accelerator, and tell me what you think. And they're like, fuck, this is fun. Of course it's fun. Because that course was designed based on the feedback from 100,000 students and based on our experience. I've been teaching for 25 years. So teaching Ngons and booleans at the beginning is the correct way. I don't give a fuck what's the industry standard. What we do is we teach people to get to the industry standard eventually when they learn all the tools. But you don't do this in one go. And going back to videos, I have plenty of examples of, you know, all kinds of techniques on my YouTube channel. I have close to 1,000 videos, right? Some of them are private or, you know, unpublished or whatever, but I probably have over 1,000. With Josh together, we have easily over 1,000. Anyway, there are all kinds of videos. I have a whole playlist on Subdi, you know, both vanilla and with add-ons. But, you know, people like this can't even bother to look. They just, you know, drop and comment. So again, I'm really looking forward to the comment section because I know that when people gonna see my favorite thumbnail, which is Ngons Trigger Nerds, you know, I can just hear these fuckers squeezing their cats and just comment section. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be fucking ballistic. Anyway, thanks for watching. Grab the course, you know, it's fantastic. We have close to 5,000 students. So if you're learning and you're new, you're gonna bloody love it, okay? You can go on our Discord, ask about the course. You can go on our website, see all the reviews. We have like close to 1,000 5-star reviews, you know, all the screenshots, just put them there. And the course is super. It's a very well split and divided and constructed curriculum. It's going to teach you in 12 days, learning about, you know, 30 to 60 minutes a day. All you need to know to actually sit down and think, shit, I actually know how to model. And that's the point. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.